Alright, so if you hate small talk and you struggle with emptying up this awkward void you have when speaking to somebody you don't know, this video was literally made for you, okay? You were destined to find this video, I promise. Shake on it, but literally just a couple of years ago, as I was around 13, perhaps 14 years old, I used to have a full, 100% achievement list of all insecurities you can imagine. I was short, I was small, I used to think I was ugly, I used to think I was this, that. I had everything. You know that one achievement in Minecraft where you get it when you have all of the potion effects applied all at once. That was my little insecurity list. I used to think I have all of them at once. And that kind of affected the way I would talk to people, right? Because I didn't struggle with speaking to people I already knew. If that was the case, bro, I could talk on 24/7. I could go on about whatever. But when I had to speak to somebody I didn't know, that's when things started to go a little bit uphill, right? Because suddenly I have to talk to this guy who I have nothing in common and I don't know anything about him. Then what am I supposed to do? Just stare and smile awkwardly? That didn't work out, right? So for the people who I felt somewhat comfortable talking, the awkward in between, right? Where it was a person who I knew but I didn't have anything in common, I had this one little conversation starter that I used to always use that, looking back at it now, it was pretty cringe, right? But it was kind of working sometimes. What I would do is I would pull out my phone, open up YouTube, because I didn't use TikTok. Fuck TikTok, by the way. And I would open up YouTube Shorts. What a big difference. And I would just scroll on that thing, I would turn on the engine, turn on my left finger, and I would just scroll on it for hours on end until I found something that was a little bit funnier than everything else, like 0% more funny, something that I actually felt comfortable showing to others. Then I would walk up to somebody. Most of the time, I would do it as if they were already talking to somebody else. I didn't really care. I would just bump in, tap them on the shoulder. They would turn around, completely disrupt their conversation. I would pull out my phone, just straight to their face without any hesitation, just show it. Most of the time, I wouldn't even say a word, right? I would just stare them in the eyes with this silly smile, oh, look at this meme. Can you laugh at it so you can validate me? And it was pure autistic behavior, right? Respectfully, of course, but that didn't really get me the results I wanted. As it's safe to say, right? It was a pretty dumb, awkward method of getting people to talk to me, and it was more annoying than actually me being a good friend, right? It didn't really work long term. So if you can somewhat relate, if you struggle with small talk and just filling up this void, this awkward silence that sometimes occurs, or you just downright don't know what to talk about, I'm just gonna give you the laziest, the easiest method, which some of y'all already know, most likely. I won't lie to you. This is for the people who are just level 1, complete newbie to this, and you just want a way to escape this awkward hell of not knowing what to say. Because trust me, I've been there and it's not pleasant. That's why you're probably still watching. The easiest way to turn the table in the conversation is to literally stop trying to focus it on yourself and just invest the time into the other person. This is as simple as it gets. Essentially, when you're in a conversation, all I'm asking you to do is just focus the conversation on the person who you're speaking to. Just turn your ego off completely, because you're too insecure to start a conversation to begin with, right? So ego's really not necessary here. All you need to do is ask him a question, whatever it may be. The best way to go about it is, as soon as you look at him, back in your mind, in the back of your brain, you will get a thought of what you could say. You always do. You cannot convince me you don't. But the issue is that in your mind, you have this funnel that this allows these things from coming out. It's like you look at this person, you see, oh, these shoes are pretty cool. But you're too afraid to say that, so this doesn't flow out of your mouth. Instead, what comes out is just, hi, how you doing? It's always awkward, right? It's always awkward. Nobody likes that. So you need to stretch that filter, right? I want you to say whatever comes to your mind. Just don't be stupid, okay, right? Don't just say anything that's downright out of the box, that's just completely stupid, right? Whatever you notice about that person that's related to him, Perhaps it's the way he's dressed, the way he styles his hair, the way he looks, the way he behaves. There are many things you can pick on, that you can nibble onto, and just ask him about it. You would be genuinely surprised at just how much people just love to talk about themselves. When you are thinking about whatever, when you're just in complete brain rot and your mind's drifting away into your little subconscious thoughts, most of the time you're thinking about yourself. You cannot convince me otherwise. You're thinking about the things that you're going to do. You're thinking about the things that you are going to, okay, I'm going to say it again, do later down the line. You're rarely ever thinking about others. And this isn't me trying to sound like selfish or like evil or anything. It's just the way our minds think. We are very self-centered as the human species, but we're all like this. I'm not saying this to criticize you, because that's just how the human brain works. And when you are able to, quote unquote, capitalize on that and turn the conversation towards the other person, suddenly they are getting all of this gratification which you've been chasing. But here's the thing, because they feel finally somewhat fulfilled that they get to express what's on their mind, you just get to sit there and the other person does all of the talking for you. It's this simple, trust me. You just have to flip the script onto the other person, and probably what you're thinking about right now is, what if I run out of questions? What if I ask the one question I have in my mind and I don't know what to do from that point? Ask another one. I know this sounds somewhat stupid, right? Because this kind of contradicts itself, but when you ask a question, as he's responding, you want to pick on what he says. Try to find another thing that you can quest. Well, it's kind of like a video game quest, yeah. You want to find whatever he says where you can just grab onto that thing and ask another question. Asking questions is probably the laziest way to go about it, because the other person is doing all the talking for you. Once you get them to open up, once you're finally able to pinpoint their biggest interest, once you really hit their interest, you've literally won the conversation, right? If somebody walked up to me and asked me about basketball, for example, I could go on for 24 hours straight about how the Miami Heat this year is getting fucked in the butt because we're below 500, right? But you probably have the same thing for your stuff, right? You probably have your own interests that you could talk about 24/7. It's the exact same thing. Once you're able to pinpoint the other person's, they don't even have to be interests. Appearance is a very easy way to pinpoint something, whether that's hair, behavior, body language. When was the last time somebody complimented you for your haircut? Probably not that often, but once they did, you felt amazing. That boosted your confidence, right? That's why you want to share this effect onto others, because when people associate you with positive emotions that they felt in your presence, they will associate you as a whole with an enjoyable experience. And they will want to come back. And the best goddamn part is that you haven't barely said anything out of your own. Oftentimes, people will ask you, what about your interests? Just do the exact same thing. Talk about them. But you can still bounce back whenever you feel like, right? I mean, I'm pretty fluid with talking. It's as if it was hard to tell, right? But oftentimes, I still have those negative moods where I just don't feel like talking, right? Sometimes I'll just do something where I'll be very busy and my mind will be all over the place. That's when I'll just go back to this basic method. It's as easy as it gets. This is day one stuff, but this is something that I always go back to whenever I need it. So I really think that this is pretty valuable. If you haven't heard of it already, just turn the table on with the other person. Become genuinely interested in him. The one important part before we finish the video: listen. If you're not listening to what he says and you're not pinpointing what you can ask about next, then you run out of questions. Then you start to struggle. So I really hope that somebody, I just gotta imagine this scenario. Somebody was thinking, what if I run out of questions? And then I gave that answer from a few minutes ago, and he's like, man, this dude's bullshitting. And he clicked off, and he didn't get to see this part. But if he made it to this part of the video, comment the word cat. Yo, let me show you my cat. We do this literally every video now. If you're wondering why the rug or the carpet is not on the floor is because I need the space for my chair to sit whilst I'm recording. So fun fact. But yeah, shout out to my cat. She's doing real good. She's just sleeping, just chilling. And yeah, I think we're gonna round this video up. We're gonna sum it up. So yeah, if you want to talk to me directly, whilst hanging around an amazing community of like-minded people who all share the same interests, just join the Discord server. Honestly, this is one of the best decisions you'll make in a while. The very active community we have here will genuinely take care of you. You get to both talk to me in text very often. Plus, we do weekly calls. Yeah, they're pretty much weekly. We don't have a consistent schedule, but it's usually in the weekends, right? So you'll also get an opportunity to talk to me either on camera or just in a voice call. They're usually in groups, right? So that's pretty much it. But yeah, I won't waste any of your time. You can click all the videos if you want to, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video. So keep working, brother, and take care.